Yo, what's good? It's been on fire here, back from the video answer. I'm hopping into another college football 26 offensive video. Today we're going to be going over the gun Y-off trips formation out of the Penn State offensive playbook. Definitely one of our meta formations we have here, and this is a very solid formation. Very excited to bring it to you guys, but before we get into the video, make sure you guys do hit the subscribe button. About 70% of those that watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you are watching this, if these videos are helping, if you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and lets me know that you guys are enjoying what I'm posting, and it is the best way to show support to the channel. So go ahead, I'll wait, hit that subscribe button, and then let's get into it. So Y-off trips is good for a few reasons. Our big play is going to be on the left hand side here. Let's move RPO read Y flat. So RPO read Y flat is going to be our bread and butter out of this offense. It is very, very solid. Other plays that we like, you have a halfback zone toss, which is kind of an interesting play. It's not the greatest, but it's there. I like flood halfback swing. I like PA double post. And then you have just a 4 verticals or verticals Y option. It's up to you. So let's go ahead and set our audibles. I'm going to go ahead and throw in flood halfback swing. You usually will replace inside zone with this RPO read Y flat if you want to run plays. No one's going to get frustrated at you for that. So let's get verticals Y option and then PA double post. So these are mine. We're of course going to start out with this RPO read Y flat because it is definitely our best option to use. And defensively, I'm probably just going to try and kind of do what I normally do in the ebooks if you guys have watched those, and kind of switch between coverages. Now, I'm going to respot the ball just slightly here to the left side because usually you're going to run it with your trips on the wide side, which is exactly what we want. So let's go ahead and do that. Just going to move my camera around. But yeah, so very simple play. Obviously, we are reading. Not only do we have an RPO, but we can also keep it with Drew Aller here. So we're going to definitely be looking at number 15. As far as the P here, that guy, he doesn't really matter. He's not really ever going to make a play on it. But obviously you're going to snap the ball, and before you have time to hand off the football to your halfback, you are just simply going to hold that Y or triangle button if you're on PlayStation and get rid of it. Honestly, the longer you wait, the better off you are, because the further those guys travel in means less people to come from behind and make a play on you. Now, our tight end here with Penn State isn't necessarily the quickest, but even with a slower tight end, we're picking up 20 yards at will, which is really just showing why this offense can be so dangerous and so difficult to stop this play. So let's say he does crash. I can also take off with our quarterback, as you can see here. Now, I'm always going to slide with my quarterback. I don't want the wear and tear bonus, but you can see that we're picking up easy chunk plays. Again, we're watching 15. Obviously, our tight end is running, so he's not blocking, which is forcing that guy to a crash. Now, a lot of times this will depend on what your opponent's setting is. It could be crash. It could be keep. In this case, he crashes. Now, number 3 didn't do a great job there. Maybe he pursues, but sometimes those defensive players do play dumb, especially in those RPOs. And honestly, we keep it, but obviously this guy, I mean, he's still wide open. Really, if I want to throw it late, I still could. Be careful to get those illegal man downfield penalties, though. Now, also on the left, you have this little hitch. It's open a lot of times, so you can hit that if you really want to. For whatever reason, you feel the need to mix it up, you can easily just throw this, snap it, and get it to work. So definitely no penalty. And yeah, I mean, even there, you get some good blocking. It could end up being like 40 or 50 yards. So overall, just usually a super effective way to get it to work. Now, let's say, how do we stop this as a defensive player? What are you going to do? You're probably going to come out in cover 0. You're going to press. You're going to kind of pinch these guys. We're going to make this as uncomfortable as possible. We have that slot corner now on the right side, and everybody's still manned up, and let's see how it fares. You see, it really doesn't make a big difference. If anything, it plays it a lot worse with the more aggressive way, and it ends up actually being a touchdown. So clearly, that makes no difference. And honestly, it usually does end up hurting them even more, because if they start doing that, that's where you just pass the ball and you can absolutely torch them. So honestly, you would, again, how would you defend this? You would probably want to run, if he's really killing you with this, and I'm talking about like if I was defending it, if he's really torching me with it, I'm going to user probably him, and then I just got to simply crash on I got to crash on the tight end. So I got to user this, but then he could hand it off, and he could obviously still keep it with your quarterback. So it's really just a nightmare play. I'll run it one more time here, and let's just keep it. You can see, like, sometimes those players are so dumb. Obviously, defensive player could click on, probably played a little bit better, but for the most part, it's just going to work every single time, which makes it an absolute nightmare to play against, which is why this formation is so good. Let's show the toss real quick here as well, just kind of sticking with our run plays. I don't think I need to show inside zone because it's basically the same. Obviously, we couldn't really get the inside zone to work on the RPO because the defensive end was crashing every time. Maybe I could change that setting towards the end and actually show you maybe what it looks like, but here's the toss now. Toss is decent. You'll kind of need those blocks to develop as much as possible. But sometimes it's inconsistent. If you go wide, it relies on the wide receivers a lot, so you do need them to hold their blocks. If you cut it back in, then sometimes no one's blocking, but depending on how he plays it, if he's really stacking the box, maybe it's a little bit more open, right? So let's actually just show the run real quick. I'm going to go to my settings. I'm going to go to my RPO read key, and let's say we focus on dive, QB left open. Or no, let's go conservative. Let's focus on the quarterback. And they could also do this. So let's say they focus on the pass coverage, which is focusing on the pass coverage really makes no difference for this play. And the reason why, and I'm talking about the read Y flat, the reason it makes no difference is because it's like a man coverage look most of the time. So even if they focus, it usually doesn't end up making that big of a difference, although maybe it does. It actually was defended there pretty well. If they press, maybe it's a little bit worse. So obviously they can start doing that. It seems like it's a lot better. That's when you would probably want to just start handing the football off, and you can start getting like your 5 to 10 yards. So clearly there is a way. Maybe some people don't know how to defend that. I just kind of figured out that that was that good. But if they start doing that, you have Penn State in their offensive line. You have their 2 running backs. You're going to kill it. So you'll be okay. Yeah, let's go into some passes though. But that's interesting. I didn't know that guy actually played it really well. And this could depend formation to formation. Who knows how the different formations play. But it is interesting that he played that well. Now, first passing play, let's go into the flood halfback swing. Now, flood halfback swing is going to be pretty solid. I like a lot of routes out of here. I like this kind of deeper in route. We have, I didn't mean to motion. I can't motion him out. Awesome. But I like the backside post from our B or circle wide receiver here. And I like to kind of smart out it. Now, you can do a few different things with him. We could kind of create just a flood concept, honestly. Like if I wanted to, just do this. And this is going to open him up in that post little window. You could do a few different things as well. I could just go drag, I could go streak, and then I could smart out B still. And then maybe I throw a flat out there. So let's run this as kind of our first setup here. Now, spacing wise, RB there is actually probably bad. I think I might do a hitch instead. Sorry about that. That's always kind of an inconsistent setup, but let's say we do hitch, drag, flat with Y, smart route B. X, you could do a few different things here. Honestly, we could start posting X, and I'll do that in some later setups with this play, but let's try and work B over there. This is kind of the window you want. Now, I don't know why he drops the ball every time. This guy's clearly not the best, but that's a good spacing concept. We have a nice, easy high-low between the hitch and the flat immediately. One of those two guys is usually going to be open. In this case, you would probably throw it to the flat. Obviously, he ends up breaking open. You have your drag over here. I could throw this right here and be fine. The in route could be open late. So just a solid window. Now, I'll show that setup one more time. We'll go into something else. But it's a good kind of quick snap setup. Three quick hot routes. I could leave A on his little route too if I want to really space the field even better. So again, you could just check it down here. If you don't want to force the ball to B, maybe he's usered, maybe he's defended better against the different coverage, then you could do that. Now, let's say we want to work that left side. We could actually put X on the post, and then I could maybe drag A. I could do a few different things here, but maybe I just try and open up Y on a wheel route. Different things like this could definitely work. Now, that's probably better against cover 3. I was running cover 2 there with the vert hook. But you can also incorporate some motion if you're like really kind of congested. But let's try something similar. Let's just go back to kind of our look here. You could keep the 2 posts and keep this kind of spacing look. And then boom, hit it in that window. And it should work from both sides. So depending if he's user heavy on one side, you can kind of attack with the post the other way. And that is a good option. Now, if I wanted to try and get this wheel route open, which I kind of do, maybe we just incorporate him into motion over here. And then I could like drag, corner, post, or just streak X. Something like this could be a solid little motion setup that you get. And boom, you can hit Y out of the backfield. You have the drag, and then the corner out would probably be coming open on the left. So nice little motion options there. Let's get into our next play, which is going to be the, let's go to the PA double post. Now with the PA double post, we obviously kind of like that post with B in a similar sense to what we had. We also have a wheel route with this tight end, which is interesting. So you can actually use him pretty well in some setups. We'll start out by kind of working that route because it's a very unique route. It's something probably most people won't expect. Now, the best way to do is probably just throw B on an out route. And then with R1, you saw what I did in the last plays. I just dragged him. So we could like post X, drag RB, do that. I honestly just keep the play action too, just to kind of throw him off a little bit more. He sees that, maybe he thinks it's an RPO instantly, but obviously you can block him if you would really prefer. But this is a good little unique setup you can definitely mix in. And I usually will try an aggressive catch or possession catch if at all possible to avoid taking a hit. So that's a good setup. Now if I want to try and open up like A, kind of a good quick snap setup is just, or R1, kind of a good quick snap setup is just putting A on a quick drag, snapping the ball. This gives you like, I guess that spacing was bad. Never mind, that's not a good setup. I thought RB and B would run a little bit separately. They kind of ran together, which is obviously not what we want. I'm gonna try and see if this could open up like a cover 3 beater. I think RB may be a little short. Let's try smart routing him, getting him a little bit deeper. So that does kind of work as a cover 3 beater, which is pretty awesome. So I'll show that setup again. Pretty much all I did is I would never play action unless I'm trying to hit the wheel route, but I'm going to streak A, I'm going to smart route RB, drag B, and come back X, and then I'm going to block my running back. Now you kind of see how we have a weird little stock protection as well. You could just cancel that too, but looking to get enough time. He didn't run the route as well there, maybe got bumped. But it ends up working, so that's a solid setup. As far as using RB after that, I probably would avoid, but we could like try something like this. Maybe we just drag a zig RB, and then B's gonna, I want to think about how to do this. Let's try a few different things actually. So you wouldn't want to streak him. I think we just go hitch with RB. Let's hitch him. And we'll probably just kind of set him up the same way we did last time. Maybe we hitch and then we put A on like a return. And then with X over here, we could just like come back him. He's kind of in the way a little bit. And I could maybe flat Y, something like this. And then he's a lot more open. So that's a little bit of a better setup. Sorry, I'm kind of freestyling this a little bit. I thought some things would work and they're not working as well. And you could just drag A. Also, if you want to do this, you don't have to return him. The return is decent though. But again, kind of something like this. And you see how the hitch really does a good job of bringing it up. Open the post, we take the sack there, but you guys can kind of see that it's open, which is obviously all that matters. So as far as doing more stuff with the running back, we could again kind of go with like these angle routes that are solid. So maybe I go drag with the tight end angle route. I could just like post X. And then over here, we could do kind of whatever. I could go like, good clear out concept is always like a zig comeback. So something like this, just good man beaters. And then you could kind of throw the post under the top. Always the drag or the Texas route are going to be open with your running back or the tight end. So, solid option. Let's go into the verticals Y option. And if you guys want to see this in the gameplay, let me know. I don't know that I will post a ebook on this playbook. I don't love the playbook. There's a few good formations, like the wing trips weak is decent. Nothing that I love personally. This formation looks decently interesting, but I'm not in love with the playbook, to be honest, but I do like this formation. Verticals Y option is our last play. And what we can do out of verticals Y option is we just kind of have a stock table route and then a few streaks. So really we could kind of do whatever we want, which is nice. We could go like A on a post, X on a drag, RB on a corner route, kind of a first quick setup. Just opening up things. Boom, we get R1 open deep, perfect. So that's just a super easy play, and you'll see me do a concept very similar to that out of bunch all the time. Bunch X nasty or bunch strong offset or bunch strong ace offset. Just a lot of options. Obviously this guy is just sitting there wide open, so you could hit him on his backside drag and then kind of go to work. A's just more clear out here because he doesn't really have much going on beside him. So another thing you could do is kind of motion him in, and we could go back to our like double hitches, and then maybe I post B again. So we go 2 posts, 2 hitches, and then a flat. Just kind of a little creative setup. Really both hitches open there. The posts just bring up all those zones, and the flat kind of open there as well. So just kind of making the game a little bit easier. And I could do the same setup with like a zig with X if I want to, but both these guys open. The post really could throw it here. He would be open. Tight end pulling all those guys up, and you could go like crosser if you want as well. If we want to try and open him up, we could again create something like this, just flat, hitch, post. And then you can hit that post in that window. I'm not sure if the tight end will be open late. Probably not without anything behind him. You could kind of go back to this wheel route concept that we ran if you wanted to do something like that as well. So let's say we post, you could go like zig, or I could even actually go return here, and that's not a bad idea. So I actually like that setup a lot. Using those returns is definitely a solid concept. So I wheel Y, I out B, I motion R1 over, I post A, streak X, and then I put R1 on a return. You could go hitch here, you could go zig, you could go return. Honestly, you could go drag. I think the return here is probably your best bet. Maybe it also opens up the tight end late. I tried to wait there. I definitely could have hit him in that little window. But overall, just some solid setups out of this play. And this is basically just like a hot route play. You could really run most of these setups out of any play, right? Let's say we try to run like a little C route here. Maybe drag, post, just kind of getting creative with different looks. Different options. If you're using Penn State in actual gameplay, you want to try and get those running backs the ball as much as possible. You can also motion this guy across, and what this does is just kind of create a normal U-trips look. So here's where we could go to kind of some basic setups. Maybe we put A on a corner route, B on like a backside drag. You can do different things like that. Although the spacing on that play is not great because the drags kind of get bumped up, but you guys can kind of see. Anyways, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.